Welcome to another episode of the Edj Whitetails Natural Food Plots. What am I talking about? Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. I am back here. I'm actually pretty deep in the woods this morning. Kind of back by where I did all that hinge cutting, back towards the bedding areas that I made back in March. We'll do an update on those before long. It's still kind of soupy and mucky back there from all of the flooding this year, but I can see now, this is the first time I've really been back here, I can see now that it's really thick. The weeds still come up as I needed them to through that hinge cuts, and pretty stoked about that. But that's not what we're talking about today. Natural food plots. It seems silly to call it that because basically nature is a natural food plot for a whitetail with all the browse. What I'm talking about is we have oak trees in this river bottom, some that have been planted by us and some that have been here forever. Where I'm at deep in the woods right now, you see this big old giant that probably has a ton of stories to tell. It's a big old white oak, big rounded leaves, big old white oak, and it's a big acorn producer. At least it did last year. I don't know if we're going to have quite the acorns we'll have this year that we had last year, but what I learned, and I did this last year some, is I come in and I've cleared out all the way around with the mower, and what that's going to do underneath this oak tree opens up the canopy underneath. When the acorns start to fall, the deer have free pick at them. They're right there. They don't have to dig. And this also creates new browse. So it's a twofold thing, and it's as simple as it adds another food plot to your ground without working up the soil, without planting anything. But it adds another food plot to your ground with as simple as mowing. I mean, I did this with my riding lawnmower. A guy could even come in with a push mower and do this kind of stuff. So very simple, very effective. Nothing I'm going to hunt over, but the name of the game here is making your property as attractive as possible, and this is another easy way to do it. As you can see, I just went not necessarily any certain size. I just kind of went where the brush and underbrush would allow me to go and cut, and I just took it real down real low to the ground. Like I said, it's the first weekend in August here, and this is going to grow back up, so I will come back in and I will mow this again. But it's just one of those deals. I'll show you a couple more examples and then we'll wrap this up. Natural food plots. So here's another great example. Let me flip that camera again. So we've got this beautiful white oak that honestly wasn't this healthy 3 years ago. This was the first one I ever started mowing around, and believe it or not, just that mowing around it has helped it. I actually need to come in and trim some of this undergrowth and suckers, but with an oak, I'm going to wait until, I think it's February or March. I'm going to study up on that. I'm not going to try and do any trimming until then, and then I can actually open this up even more. But what I've done is I mow all the way around this in a pretty good circle, basically the whole circle around the whole canopy here. And this drops a lot of acorns. And one thing I found today, I was mowing around this and then I come around and I'm not sure if this is some sort of little crab apple or what. Maybe some comments, but it's got a bunch of fruit on here, and I'm sure, well, I shouldn't be sure, but I can imagine that the deer eat on those as well. Need to do a little research, see exactly what that is. But I went ahead and I opened up around that too. And again, like I said on the one that was deeper in the woods, this one's a little further up. This one's on the east side of the east thicket. They can come from that back, the very far back end of the property, and which I made a trail coming from back that way off of one of my access trails. I have a video that talks all about access trails, and I'm opening them up today too. But I made a branch off of that, and it comes right up around this, what we're calling a natural food plot now. And then I have a trail that I make every year that runs right up the backside of the east thicket, and it goes around and comes in at the top of the food plots. So what I like about this is still really way far back. It's close to those hinge cuts, that furthest back bedding area, where most likely Mr. Big is probably going to set up shop come October. And to have this in October when acorns are dropping, this might get him off his feet a little earlier. Up into here, still feels secure. Right up against this east thicket, still feels secure. And then in the middle of our food plots, which is not destination plots by any means, he's got this little milk route of little feeding areas on his way out in the evening, coming back in the morning. And also anything you can add food-wise, and this I consider food and habitat. This is a nice little clearing. Again, this is going to have browse coming up out of the floor, acorns falling from above, and it's just adding another element to make your property super enticing to whitetails. So, and even if Mr. Big, is not living in here on this, the does certainly will be, and we all know what that means in early November. So just one of those attracting deals. I've never made a video about this until now. It's one of those experiments that I've done for a last couple years now, and it really has shown results. So again, the name of the game is making your property the most attractive you can to draw as many deer in as possible in the fall. So try this on your property. Again, natural food plots, just opening something up, giving that browse, giving them easy access to the acorns that fall. They're not digging around in there. Those acorns aren't lost. It benefits the turkeys, squirrels, everything else too. They can get right at it. So one of those things, give it a try. It's worked well for me, and I'm going to continue to do it as I find oaks here and there throughout the property that I can get to and access and mow around. I'm going to go ahead and do that every time, because it's adding more benefit, as long as I'm not taking away any thickness, which most of the time around these canopies it's not. So that's going to wrap this episode up. Try those natural food plots in your property, and until next time, get outdoors.